Hello and welcome. Keep your hand in your skirt. My name is Sabrina Brightstar. I am your host, Keep Your Hand in Your Skirt podcast. Today's topic is actually in response to a request I received, and that is about protection circles. Do I have protection circles before I communicate with my multidimensional self? What do you do? Do you have protection circles? So today I want to talk about our dark aspects, our light aspects. What's my personal point of view about the dark aspects or the manipulating energy or frequency or consciousness? So first of all, in order to answer the question for me, my practice has changed. Initially, when I had my multidimensional awakening, I was taught by mentors that it's important before you communicate with your higher self or with the non-seen spiritual world, with the non-seen being, is that you need to put yourself in a protection circle, or you need to invocate your boundaries or your guidelines, your rules, in order to communicate with the non-physical beings. So in the beginning, that was my practice, as that is the information that I received from the mentors, people that I was inspired by or listening to. But then as my journey evolved and as my consciousness started to expand, I started to remember we are one. We are one. So if we are one, can there be an aspect of me, or can there be an aspect in this reality that is not me, right? So I'm not saying that negative energy doesn't exist. Yes, it does exist. Yes, manipulation does exist. Yes, bullying energy does exist. Yes, dark, heavy energy does exist. So I'm aware that it exists, but to me, I see all of the different consciousnesses, I see all the different aspects, I see all the different frequencies as like a play. If you have a play, you have your hero, you have your heroine, and then you have your bad guy, your evil guy, you have the villain in the story, and you have all these other characters. Some people align and agree with the bad guy, some people align and agree with the villain and the hero, the shiro. So there's so many different characters and so many different alliances with the positive or the negative, the light or the dark, whatever word you want to use. We're calling it the same thing. So that is a part of the storyline. But when you think of a storyline, when you think of a movie or a play that you've gone to, technically everyone is just playing a part. Everyone has agreed to play a part. And so I believe consciousness has chosen, I believe I have chosen to separate from oneness, to disentangle from oneness, or try to disentangle from oneness, in order to have separate individual experiences. So there's multiple aspects of me, multiple versions of me or others that are agreeing to play different roles, different vibrational set points or frequencies. So once I started to understand, or I started to feel in my body, I had that awareness that I actually come from oneness. That is my core belief. I believe we are one. I believe we are separated and having individual experiences, and I believe in choice. We always have choice. I don't believe in somebody outside of me is controlling me. I do not believe like somebody sits above me and controls me like a puppet. Because if I was controlled like a puppet, then where is free will? Where is choice? There wouldn't be no choice. And that would defeat the whole purpose of having this experience. Now, I'm not suggesting that we're not easily influenced and manipulated. Are we easily influenced and manipulated? In my opinion, absolutely hell yes, right? We see just how advertising, commercials, TV, programming, images, sound, music that goes with the programming. We know how easily the imperfect human can be easily manipulated and controlled. So I have the awareness that control and manipulation exist. So I'm not in denial that it's here, and I have the awareness that I have choice. So based on my core belief that I believe everyone is just having an experience, whether a human or an energy and not in a physical body, or an energy that might be in a different type of container or body. Everybody is having an experience. It's an experiential game that we're in, right? We're inside the matrix. We're inside the video game for the purpose of having the experience. But when you strip it way back, when you're zeroing in on just this experience, just this timeline, all you see is this. But when you expand your vision, when you put on your multidimensional glasses, when you put on the multiverse glasses and you go way, way, way out and you step way, way back and you strip it all back, my belief is we are all one. We are all of God, God's source. You can call it whatever you want. God, Goddess, all that is, all that I am. I believe we are all a part of all that is, all that I am. So from that point of view, I don't worry about troublemakers or dark energies. I honor that they exist, but if I'm going to connect with my multidimensional self, I no longer participate in a practice where I put myself in a bubble. Part of the reason I no longer worry about that or do that is because it's my core, like my boundary that I have for myself, my connection, is if there's an interesting energy or frequency that would like to observe my state of being or observe my activities, that's okay with me. I'm okay with that. But I have the core boundary, you can observe, but you can't, I'm not choosing to co-create with you. I'm not choosing to be controlled or manipulated by you. And for me, that's one of the reasons that I just like to connect to my multidimensional self. And I like to harmonize. I like to invite in my dark aspects or my night aspects, whatever word you want to call it. I like to harmonize the good and the bad parts of who I am, or the different realities that I coexist in, and I like to bring them to the 0 point. I like to invite them to come into the 0 point and harmonize with all that I am. So instead of operating from fear-based thoughts, because to me, I think on a deeper level, I understand the protection circle, and if that feels good in your body, go ahead and do it. But what is behind? See, I always like to think, well, what is behind the protection circle? What is that frequency that's behind it? And to me, that frequency is encouraging and promoting fear-based thoughts. When you have fear-based thoughts, when you lose your sovereignty, or give away your sovereignty, and you think this other frequency, this other aspect, this other consciousness is more dangerous than you, and you have to protect yourself, on some level, are we promoting that fear-based thought? Are we sending the signal that I'm not safe? And that's just for each individual to decide for themselves. In the beginning, I felt really great doing the protection circle. That felt really good to me. That felt like a good practice to me, until I expanded my consciousness and evolved my point of view, my vibration. And so for me, I don't like to, if I'm hosting a multidimensional journey, if I'm hosting a group, when I'm invoking in the intention for the connection, I never talk about that only the highest light can come. Because for me, I am co-creating, and I feel like my vibration, my intention, if something is not of a similar vibration, it won't be comfortable. It won't hear the call to come to the party, right? Like we connect to similar set points, to similar vibrations. And for me, if I'm saying that only this can happen, only the highest vibration, only the highest timeline, to me that's like excluding, that's like cutting off, that's like not allowing law of attraction. And law of attraction says like is attracted to like. So if I just know I am sovereign, if I just have my inner confidence, my inner certainty, my inner trust and knowing in me and my sovereignty, for me that's it. I want to trust me. I want to have sovereignty with me. My power, right, is within, with me. So for me, I'm not inspired to bring up those words, or to bring up that thought idea that maybe something harmful could come in and cause damage. So that's my answer. I hope that answers the question. And it also makes me think, I've been hearing a lot about people are talking, and we know this, right? When you're functioning from your heart space, right? When you're in your heart space, you're in your multidimensional space, or some call it 5D. I call it the spiral consciousness, right? When you're thinking thoughts from 5D, they're different than the thoughts you think in your mind. Our minds, what do our minds do? Our minds are designed to overthink, to question, to doubt, to have, do I, be, analyzing. And that's the job of the mind. The mind is, cautious, wants to protect, wants to have a judgment, wants to have like, this is right, this is wrong. The mind wants to label and define and make things concrete. Like, I agree with this. Whereas what is the heart? The heart is a different frequency. The heart is, everything is accepted, everything is allowed. The heart knows we are one. The heart functions from pure love. And when you have pure love, are you mad at the bad guy? Are you mad at the bullies or the troublemakers? Right? And when you, like, it's easy way to explain it is like, as a parent, if you're a parent, or if you have pets or something that you just truly love from an open-hearted, 5D heart space, even if that person is a troublemaker, or even if they have a behavior that you don't like, does your heart, like, your heart still loves them? Your heart still is open. So you might have good boundaries, you might not tolerate things, but your heart doesn't shut down to those different aspects that might be acting as troublemakers, or might be manipulating or bullying. So I think that the more we intentionally choose to leave the mental thoughts, right, when we leave the mind and we go to the heart, it's just a different experience. So if I'm in the mind, if I have fear-based thoughts, if I'm worried, I'm probably going to have one set of behaviors, one set of processes when I connect to my multidimensional self. Versus when I'm in my heart, it's most likely I'm going to have different thoughts. I'm going to have different feelings. There's going to be different layers and levels of trust that my mental mind does not hold. Does that make sense? So that's me, that's my practice, but I've been on this journey, for 14 plus years. So I haven't always been this way, but for me, we are one. And as one, we are each other. There's love, even right, even if we're choosing to play a role as a troublemaker or a bad guy or an evil person, that behind it all is still, we come from oneness, and from that oneness we have pure love. Thanks for listening.